Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Game Master Bluddworth, and as you can see by the graphics, this video is going to be one that I haven't done this type of video before. This video I am going to be showcasing my own work. So I am going to be going over my adventure that I had written for the Conan 2d20 Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of, which was put out by Modiphius. Now, this particular adventure I had written using just the quick start rules back in 2017 or so. And because this game is now currently out of print and it's out of license, so it's not licensed with Modiphius anymore, I believe Heroic Signatures owns the rights to produce tabletop role-playing games for Conan and other properties related to Conan the Barbarian. I can still produce these adventures for this system and use them as rewards for my channel. And so that's what I intend to do, is to continue making this content to then share with the members of my channel, share with people who give in super chats, and also share amongst my own personal group of players that I play regularly with through my Discord channel. So without further ado, let me start going into what brought me to making this decision. I just got back from ShireCon. You've probably seen my last video. And I ran this adventure at ShireCon. It was actually my Thursday night game that I ran. And it went really, really well. And I was anticipating that this was going to be the last time that I was going to actually run this system. And it went so well that I'm kind of already walking that back a little bit. And I decided that I was going to clean up this adventure just a bit and then start sharing it out there. So nothing like a great experience to change your mind and alter your course. And so I wanted to spend a little time going over this adventure, and then I'm going to make this very quickly available. I will reach out to my channel members and then my players in the, on my Discord as well. And then the next time that I do a live stream, if there are any contributions, I will start sharing this out with those individuals as well. So without further ado, let's take a look at one of my earliest writing projects, Shards of Ymir. So here we go, Shards of Ymir, for use with 2d20 system. I'm not even sure if that is going to be good enough for it to go up on drive-through, so I have no intentions of doing so. Written by myself, Richard Bluddworth Sellati, and here we go. Inspiration from the contributors of Google+. So that tells you how far back this actually goes. And Modiphius Entertainment Ltd. So the player's introduction. I start off with the player's introduction. I pulled this little map of Asgard, which is where the players are starting off, and here is Najal's lands. So there's particularly in this region, in Najal's lands, down near this glacier, where you see this glacier here. And they find themselves in a small hill village, and basically they're hearing these rumors of some fantastic treasure, all right, known as the Shards of Ymir, and it's reported to be at a very secluded mountain, and in very tough terrain, in tough weather conditions, and there are unknown dangers that are, and an unknown guardian that is guarding this fantastic treasure. and and so they start to become embroiled in, the idea that, hey, we're going to go out and we're going to start looking for this. At the same time, depending on their interactions with with the patrons of the mead house, and with the the tavern keeper, and possibly the wait staff that is there as well, they will discover that there is another party of Azir that had already, the day before, already set out to do this very thing. And so that becomes like one of the driving forces for this adventure, is the fact that it is a race. It's a race to get to the goal before this other party. But this other party has a full day's lead on them. And so here is where they're at, and they're going to be pushing off into that very cold region there. So this is in the opening scene, and as you can see in this box here, I have what skills the characters are going to be using. So it's an intelligence lore check. As your characters receive a -1 on momentum cost for additional information. So a player who is Azir can use momentum at 1 less cost for additional information. Failure, a character is aware that the shards are legendary treasures, but nothing more. It's an average, it's a D1, so you only need 1 success in order to gain average amount of information. And momentum cost of +1, characters learn that the shards are rumored to be found in extremely rare ice formations at the top of high mountains or deep within the fissures of a cave. They then continue on, and they start out on their journey. Now, many in the tavern are going to tell them that they're on a fool's errand and such. Directions in the other party. If they use their personality ability and persuade, as your characters again get a bonus here, characters learn that the rumors point to a mountain known as Hidor's Peak as being the location where the shards might be found. Momentum cost of 1, they learn even more information about the recent traveler. So a colorful ice cloud billowing about the peak. This legend says that the remnants of the breath of Ymir. Momentum cost of 2, the characters learn that not only is Hidor's Peak the place that they should research, but that an Asir explorer and warrior had left 6 hours earlier with an expedition seeking that same prize. I had altered that a little bit since my last time, but even 6 hours will work as well, because 6 hours I can very easily, or you can very easily, just shift the dynamic of how much time and how they pick up speed in order to match up and potentially encounter the same group, or even bypass them and pass them by. So whether you do a full day's journey or 6 hours isn't going to make much of a difference. The departure, so the characters leave, and here's the sidebar. In the sidebar, I have all kinds of information giving more detail about the other party that is their opposition. Their party's leader is Krieger Bluddworth. The party is +2 members larger than the PC's group. So that's just an adjustment. If you have 5 players, then Bluddworth's party is himself +6 other minions. The chase goes on, and on the sidebar, I give you details on how to utilize a pacing chart. Now, in this most recent convention, I just forego the pacing chart, and I wait to see until the players make up six components of time. So as long as they choose certain paths and utilize momentum in certain ways to pick up their pace, that they will, as soon as they get to a +6 pace, they will have the other party in sight. And then it will only take one more momentum shift, one more pace positive, one pace positive to get caught up with the group. So I kind of streamlined it from my original writing. And so here are the various skills that they could be using, and then success and failure, momentum earned, and momentum spent. They have various different possibilities here. So there's event 1A, there's event 1B, and whether or not there's successes interspersed within that. So here they have to use awareness, observation skills. They have to use athletics if they're climbing. They have to use, if there's a combat event, and again, they're using their combat skills. Additionally, athletics, survival skills. There's a lot of different skill use being used here in order to get the players very accustomed to their character, and seeing all of the different things that their character has capability in. Here we have a hazard of falling, and falling causes 4 damage dice versus agility acrobatics to reduce the damage by just 1 die. So if they make their agility acrobatics, then only 3 damage dice will be rolled instead of 4. So Howls on the Wind. So here is an event that will take place where the player party is going to be attacked, potentially attacked by a group of wolves. Their agility stealth is a dire, all right, which means it's very, very hard to stealth your way past these wolves, and so it requires 4. It will require 4 successes just to be able to sneak past them. They can do a climb to get around them, and that would be at a challenge 2 from climb B, or to surprise the wolves. Then we just go into, if they're just going to fight them, and that's all broken down here in on the sidebar, where you get the information of how to set the pack size is based on the number of players, and here it's equal to the number of players. It's not really meant to be a really challenging combat. It's meant to just give the players their first exposure to combat during this adventure. Journey's End for the Broken. After 2 hours long rest, having bandaged your party's wounds, ate some food, and resting your bodies enough to get the second wind, you strike out again. And here it talks about unless the party has suffered nearly catastrophic delays and failures, or allowed themselves to get sidetracked, they should have made quite a bit of time up versus the NPC party. The encampment is occupied by 2 Azir adventurers, one with an obvious broken leg and the other minor wounds from the battle with the wolves. The other is a younger man with only minor wounds, but standing ready to defend his comrade. So these are 2 Azir adventurers, the 2 that were mentioned in the 6-hour point that they've actually caught up to. And that's because they're injured. Now the party can decide, do we take them with us, or do we leave them, to their own devices, and that's up to them. So they can aid and or persuade them to come along, or attack and attempt to persuade them, and so on. So there's different options that they have here in how to deal with the Azir. I actually eliminated this for the purposes of the adventure during the convention, just to streamline it a little bit. If they do pick up the additional Azirs, then it will change some other things going down the road. There are several different scenarios. As you can see on the sidebar here, unexpected allies and common foe. There's 1, 2, 3 possible scenarios that can take place branching off from that decision to bring them on. Now here they come into contact with a small band of Vanir, which are diametrically opposed to the to Azir in every way, and so, but when they come together, there's a possibility of them joining forces, and again moving forward towards a common goal, and that is to conquer whatever challenges might be present in in the Hidor's cave. Now, again, this was very much streamlined in the convention play, but if you're doing a full party, full game kind of situation here, then I recommend that you go through all of these different parts. The parlay, and it goes through the parlay. There's observation to detect blood bear, placing a small pouch into the fire along with additional kindling. This is a struggle versus his agility stealth. So you're matching your observation. Very hard to do. You need a 4 versus his stealth. The first scenario is highly likely, and the GM may wish to spend some doom to ensure that it takes place. So, here's a little formatting issue. I have to clean that up. But if you discover the plot, then read the passage below. Willpower, discipline, epic. So 5. You need 5 to not fall into a drug-induced slumber. As they push forward, and I definitely included this in the adventurers' experience on Thursday night, they had to cross this thin ice. Now they were more so in since they killed the previous party, they had already overtaken them and they killed them outright. They just encountered this lake on their own. And still chose to cross the thin ice to get there. And here are the variety of different choices they can make, and so on. They can pick up time in case the other party is way ahead of them by crossing the ice as well. All kinds of damage possibilities if they fall through the ice. And then they get to the bridge over the icy depths. As I explained in my last video, the convention wrap-up, one of the players, his character had fallen off of this ledge. He only had 2 momentum, but with a spend of 3 momentum, he could have recovered himself. I allowed him to survive with that 2 momentum instead, and allowed him to at least see the very last scene of the adventure. So as you can see here, momentum cost to avoid death is 3. You might want to consider reducing that to 2, but my players, while I was running through these things, they had many opportunities to gain momentum, and a little bit fewer to actually spend them. I really thought that they would have had that many points in order to spend this just to avoid basically instant death, but they didn't, so I modified. So this is the scene where they first enter into the Cavern of Shards. They're really impressed, and then this is the beast protecting everything. And as you can see, as they're killing it and bringing it down, it is going to bring the whole place down on top of them. And then they get out. Then there is or hopefully they get out. And then the epilogue. So what happens, depending on how the whole situation played out, you go through the epilogue of the adventure. There's a second part. The party reached the objective first. So 2 separate epilogues, depending on if they got there first or second. And then here is the working bestiary for the thing. So there are wolves, there are Vanir warriors, there are the Azir warriors, and here is Hidur, the priest, the beast, who is a creature I created myself. For some reason, I can't get this thing formatted to show the willpower. The willpower is 9. I don't know why it doesn't format correctly to get in there. And then this is Krieger. This is the main Azir adversary, that they would encounter. So basically the leader that they are of the opposing side, or their competition, I should say. And then here's just my author's notes and so on. So this is something that I will be sharing with again, with my members, my channel's members. I shrink this down. Channel members, people who contribute during live streams, and my ordinary players, my everyday players that are on my Discord. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to just switch views here. I hope you enjoy this and be on the lookout for some more of these kind of projects that I will produce, and I will share these out again with my members and so on, and continue to promote this game, because this game system is absolutely phenomenal. My hope is that someone at Heroic Signatures, if they are in fact the ones that now own the IP for tabletop role-playing games, that they consider possibly purchasing this system from Modiphius if they haven't already, and then allow for either they continue creating for the system, or they allow for third-party contributors to continue writing for this system, because it is an absolutely great system to play. It's a lot of fun to run it. It's a lot of fun to play it, and it's probably one of the best systems that Modiphius, who is really well known now for producing really good systems, it's one of their best systems in my opinion. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. You have a great day. Take care.